comes a moment when noise stops touching you, when panic no longer enters your bloodstream, when chaos knocks and you do not rush to answer it. Something inside you has already shifted before the world notices. Before anyone claps, before anyone fears you, you are not loud, you are not dramatic, you are not begging to be seen, you are steady, and that steadiness is dangerous in the best way, because it means you are no longer reacting, you are deciding. And when that penny finally drops, you realize something simple and heavy. At the same time, you were never weak. You were just loading strength in silence. Before you go any further, let this moment lock in. If these words are hitting somewhere deep, if this feels like it is speaking directly to the version of you that never complains but carries everything, then pause for 1 second, breathe, and if you feel it, then like this, subscribe, and drop a comment, not for the algorithm, but as a signal to yourself that you showed up, that you listened, that you are still here, still building, still moving forward, even when nobody was watching. You see, most people think strength looks loud. They think it screams, flexes, argues, explains itself again and again. But real strength does not explain real strength. Watches, calculates, and moves only when it must. Real strength learns how to stay calm while everything around it shakes. And that calm is not softness, it is control. It is the ability to hold pressure without leaking fear into your actions. And you learn that not from comfort, but from being put in situations you never asked for. You did not wake up one day fearless. You were trained by moments that forced you to function while others froze. You learned how to think when emotions were trying to hijack your body. You learned how to solve problems while your heart was racing, and over time, something clicked. Your mind stopped asking why me and started asking what next. And that shift, that single shift, is what separates survivors from solution machines. A solution machine does not panic when things go wrong. It expects resistance. It understands that problems are not insults. They are invitations to adapt. So when the room fills with confusion, you do not add to it. You scan, you simplify, you execute. And people around you may not even notice what you are doing. They just know that somehow things work when you are present. This is why they gasp. Not because you are flashy, but because you are consistent. You handle crazy situations on autopilot. Not because you are numb, but because you trained yourself to stay clear. When others drown in noise, you learn to slow time inside your head, to break moments down into steps. And while others are still reacting, you are already halfway to a solution. You were built in pressure, conversations that never happened, nights that forced you to grow up, early responsibilities that arrived before you were ready. You did not crumble, you adjusted, you figured it out. You became someone who can carry weight without making a show of it. And now when life throws chaos your way, your nervous system does not collapse. It clicks into focus. There is something unsettling about a person who does not flinch when things go wrong, because it exposes how unprepared most people are. They are used to comfort scripts and guarantees, and when those disappear, they look around for someone to save them. And sometimes, without realizing it, they look at you because you are already moving, already fixing, already steady. You do not need applause while you work. You do not need permission to take control. You see the gap, you fill it, you see the problem, you solve it. And later, when the dust settles, people start asking how you stayed so calm, how you knew what to do. They call it talent, luck, or instinct. But you know the truth. It was built in quiet moments when you chose discipline over drama. You learned that emotions are signals, not commanders. You felt fear, but you did not obey it. You felt pressure, but you did not fold under it. You felt doubt, but you did not let it steer. And that ability to feel without being controlled is rare. That is emotional strength, and it is sharper than any loud confidence. The penny dropping is not an explosion. It is a click. It is the realization that you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not slow. You are being prepared to operate at a level where calm is required, where clarity matters, where chaos is normal. And once you see that, you stop wishing for an easier path, because you understand that your path made you reliable. Reliability is power, power. People trust what works under pressure. They trust the one who does not disappear when things get uncomfortable, and whether you want it or not, you have become that person, the one who can be counted on, the one who can be dropped into uncertainty and still function. And that is why life keeps testing you, not to punish you, but to use you. You are not here to panic. You are here to solve. You are not here to complain. You are here to adapt, and that mindset changes everything. Because now when things fall apart, you do not take it personally. You take it seriously. You do not ask who to blame. You ask what needs to be done, and you move. This is not about being emotionless. It is about being anchored. You still feel deeply. You still care. But you refuse to let temporary chaos create permanent damage. You refuse to let other people's panic infect your clarity, and that discipline, that inner order, is what makes you effective. When others spiral, you breathe. When others argue, you listen. When others freeze, you act. And that pattern repeats until one day you look back and realize you have been carrying situations that would have broken you years ago, and now they barely slow you down. That is growth. That is adaptation. That is becoming someone who does not need perfect conditions to perform. You became someone who can work with what is available, someone who can improvise without losing direction, someone who can stay sharp when everything is messy. People will misunderstand this. They may think you are cold, distant, or detached, but what they are really seeing is focus. You do not waste energy on noise. You do not dramatize problems. You conserve your power for action, and that efficiency can be intimidating to those who survive on emotion. You do not chase chaos. You simply do not fear it anymore, because you know you can handle it. You have evidence, proof built from lived experience that when things get hard, you do not disappear. You show up, and that confidence is quiet but unshakable. Every time life tried to overwhelm you and failed, it added another layer to you, another level of calm, another inch of control. And now when something intense happens, your system does not overload it. Organizes. You have trained yourself to think clearly under pressure, to separate what matters from what does not, to move without needing validation. And this makes you dangerous in the most constructive way, because you do not waste time. You do not hesitate. You execute. The world is full of talkers, planners, dreamers. But when something breaks, when a moment demands action, most of them look around, hoping someone else will step in. And you often do not even realize you are stepping forward because it feels natural to you. Now, this is why you should stop questioning your pace. Stop comparing your path. Stop thinking you are late. You are not late. You are calibrated. You are being shaped for moments that require backbone, not hype. When the noise fades and reality hits, it will not be the loudest voices that matter. It will be the steady ones. The ones who can make decisions without losing themselves. The ones who can hold pressure without cracking, and you are becoming one of them. You did not choose this role consciously, but you accepted it every time you refused to quit, every time you stayed composed, every time you handled something heavy without making excuses. And now, it lives in you. The penny finally dropped because you finally saw yourself clearly, not as someone who is always dealing with problems, but as someone who is capable of solving them. And that shift changes how you walk into every room, how you approach every challenge, how you see yourself in the mirror. You are not surviving anymore. You are operating, and there is a difference. Survivors hope. Operators decide. Survivors react. Operators respond, and that difference is everything. Do not soften yourself to make others comfortable. Do not dim your clarity to match their confusion. You earn this calm. You earn this control. You earn this edge. Keep sharpening your focus. Keep strengthening your discipline. Keep trusting your ability to handle what comes next, because history has already shown you that you can. And when the next wave hits, and it will remember this moment, remember that you are built for pressure. Remember that you do not break under stress. You organize under it. You are not here to be impressed. You are here to be effective. You are not loud. You are lethal in focus. You are not fragile. You are forged. And whether they understand it or not, whether they clap or stay silent, you will keep doing what you do best, handling the hard things on autopilot, with clarity, with control, with purpose. You keep moving, even when nobody sees the effort, because somewhere along the way, you stopped needing witnesses. You understood that results speak louder than explanations, and peace speaks louder than applause. You learned how to let silence do the talking, while your actions handled the rest. There is a certain weight that comes with being the one who stays composed. People lean on you without asking. They assume you will manage because you always have, and instead of resenting that role, you adapted to it. You became stronger at the core. You built internal systems, routines, mental rules that keep you stable. When everything outside is unstable, you stopped wasting energy, asking why. Life keeps choosing you for the hard moments, because deep down you already know the answer. It is not random. It is. At some point, you stop explaining yourself to people who only understand noise. You realize clarity does not need defense, and strength does not need permission. You let your results speak in a language that cannot be argued with. You begin to notice how different you are when things get intense while others search for comfort. You search for leverage while others seek reassurance. You seek structure while others wait for instructions. You build a plan. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. You know what you can handle because you have handled it before. You know your limits because you have tested them quietly, repeatedly, without an audience. You learned how to separate emotion from execution, not by suppressing feelings, but by placing them in the right order. First, you stabilize. Then you think. Then you act. That order keeps you effective when everything feels urgent. Urgency does not rush you anymore. It sharpens you. You move with a calm speed that feels almost unreal to those watching because they are still caught in the storm, while you are already mapping the exit. There is a discipline in you now that did not exist before. A discipline built from choosing control when reaction would have been easier, choosing patience when impulse was louder, choosing silence when noise was tempting. That discipline has turned into instinct. You do not debate with yourself anymore. When pressure hits your system, already knows what to do. Breathe, assess, move. You are no longer surprised by difficulty. You expect it, and that expectation removes fear. Fear feeds on the unexpected, but you walk into challenges already grounded. You understand that most problems are not emergencies. They are puzzles, and puzzles are meant to be solved, not screamed at. So you slow everything down inside your mind. You zoom out. You see patterns, connections, options, and while others are stuck in the feeling of the moment, you are already designing the solution. People may never thank you for this. They may not even notice the crisis that never happened because you handled it before it exploded. But that is the price of being effective. invisible victories. You are not bitter about that anymore. You have made peace with the fact that true strength often operates quietly, without recognition. What matters is that you know who you are when it counts. You know that when pressure arrives, you do not disappear. You do not fold. You do not look away. You stay. You adapt. You solve. That self-knowledge is grounding. It makes you walk differently, speak differently, choose differently. You are no longer chasing approval because you are anchored in competence. You do not need to prove your toughness. Your calm already proves it. Over time, you start attracting bigger responsibilities, not because you asked for them, but because people sense reliability. They sense that you are not fragile under stress. And even when you feel tired, even when the weight feels heavy, you still do not crumble. You adjust your grip, you shift your stance, and you keep moving. This is not about being invincible. It is about being resilient, about bending without breaking, about staying functional when things are not ideal. You have learned how to recover quickly, how to reset after setbacks, how to continue without carrying unnecessary damage. That recovery speed is power, because life does not wait for anyone to feel ready, and you are ready more often than you realize. You do not waste time wishing things were easier. You use that time to become better. You understand that comfort does not create capacity, pressure does, and you have been under pressure long enough to know that it shaped you, not destroyed you. So when doubt tries to creep in, remind yourself of the evidence. Remind yourself of all the moments you handled quietly, all the situations you navigated without applause. Those moments count. They built you. You are not defined by what you say, but by how you respond when it matters. And when everything is on the line, you respond with clarity, with composure, with action. That is who you are now. Not loud, not reckless, not fragile, but steady, capable, focused. A mind that does not panic. A presence that stabilizes. A system that solves. The penny did not just drop. It locked into place. And from here forward, every challenge will only confirm what you already know. You are built to handle what others cannot, and you will keep proving it silently, consistently, relentlessly. There is a quiet confidence that grows inside you. When you stop being surprised by your own strength, you stop asking, "Am I capable?" and start saying, "I will figure it out." And that sentence alone changes the way your mind approaches uncertainty. You no longer need guarantees before you move. You no longer wait for perfect clarity. You trust your ability to adjust along the way, and that trust makes you flexible, not reckless, deliberate, not hesitant. When something unexpected hits you, do not waste energy complaining about fairness. You immediately start reorganizing your thoughts, your priorities, your next move, because you understand that control is not about the situation. It is about your response. You have trained yourself to stay present when things feel heavy. You do not escape into distractions. You do not numb yourself. You stay with the moment long enough to understand it, and then you act. That presence is powerful because most people are never fully here. They are either stuck in regret or lost in worry. And you learned how to stay in the now, where solutions actually exist. You became someone who listens more than they speak, someone who observes before reacting, someone who reads the room without absorbing its chaos. And that awareness gives you an edge. You notice details others miss. You hear what is not being said. You sense when something is about to go wrong. And often you are already adjusting before anyone else realizes there is a problem. This is not intuition alone. This is pattern recognition. Built from experience, built from being in the middle of things, when they fell apart and learning how to put them back together. You did not get this from books or quotes. You got it from real moments when you had no choice but to think clearly. You learned that panic clouds judgment and clarity creates options. So you choose clarity again and again, even when it is uncomfortable. You learned how to sit with pressure without letting it turn into fear, how to feel the weight without letting it crush your posture. That posture matters because how you carry yourself under stress sends a message first to your own mind and then to everyone around you. Your calm tells your brain, we are safe enough to think, and your brain responds with solutions. That feedback loop is trained, and you trained it. Most people let stress control their thoughts. You taught your thoughts to regulate stress. So when things escalate, you do not escalate with them. You lower your tone. You slow your breath. You anchor yourself, and that alone changes outcomes. You are not immune to stress. You are skilled with it. You use it as a signal to focus, not a reason to panic. You understand that intensity can be fuel if directed properly, and poison if left unmanaged. And you manage it. There will be times when you feel misunderstood, when people assume you do not care because you do not react the way they do, but you know the truth. Your care shows up in action, not noise. You care enough to stay effective enough to stay steady enough to protect progress instead of ego. You do not need to win arguments. You need to win outcomes. And that maturity is rare, especially in a world that rewards quick reactions over thoughtful responses. You chose the harder path, the quieter one, the one where you build inner structure instead of external validation. That structure holds you up when motivation fades, when energy dips, when things do not go as planned. It is why you can keep going, even on days when you do not feel strong, because strength for you is no longer a feeling. It is a system of habits, mindset and discipline that runs even when emotions fluctuate. That is what autopilot really is. Not numbness, but training. You trained yourself to do the right things, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it is boring, even when no one is watching. And now that training shows up when it matters. So when people gasp at how you handled something, they could not. It is not magic. It is muscle memory, mental muscle. Built rep by rep through experience. You earned this. Every calm response was practiced. Every clear decision was rehearsed in past chaos. You are not lucky. You are prepared. And preparation creates calm. As you move forward, remember this. Do not betray your calm to fit into other people's. Panic, do not rush to match their urgency if it costs your clarity. Protect your inner order, because that is where your power lives. Keep refining your systems. Keep strengthening your focus. Keep choosing response over reaction. You are not done becoming sharper. Every challenge ahead is another rep, another layer, another refinement, and you will meet it the same way you always do. Steady, aware, capable. Because when the noise rises, you remain grounded. When the pressure hits, you remain functional. When things fall apart, you start putting them back together. That is who you are now, not by label, but by behavior, and behavior under pressure never lies. Ladies and gentlemen, gather around. Let's take a moment to appreciate the masterpiece that's unfolding right before our eyes. You see, they thought they could dish out all that pain and walk away without a scratch, didn't they? Oh, they painted themselves as untouchable, the ones with all the power, the ones who could shatter someone else's spirit and still sleep at night, unbothered, unscathed, untethered to the consequences of their actions. But now, the winds are changing. The universe has a way of balancing itself, a way of taking what was once cruel and turning it back upon those who inflicted it. They don't know it yet, but the storm is coming for them. It's coming fast, and it's coming hard. The pain they thought they could so carelessly cast into the world, as if it were nothing more than a passing breeze, is now a force that is returning to them. They are not the masters of the game they thought they were. No, the game is the master, and they are merely players who failed to see the rules until it was far too late. They don't even see it coming. You think they do, but they don't. They've grown comfortable in their arrogance, in their belief that the world bends to their will. For years they've held the power, using it like a weapon, tearing people down with their words, their actions, their indifference to the suffering they caused. But the universe has a way of remembering, and it has a way of making sure that the pain they sowed is repaid tenfold. Have you ever felt the weight of someone else's cruelty? The coldness of their words, the sharpness of their gaze, the deliberate ways they try to break you, to make you small, insignificant, a mere shadow of the person you were before they found you? They thought they could do it with impunity, that the pain they caused would be like a ripple in a pond, fading into nothingness. But let me tell you, my friends, that ripple doesn't fade. It grows, it expands, and it gathers strength until it becomes a tidal wave that crashes back into the shores of their lives. They built their empire on the suffering of others, thinking it would last forever, thinking they could keep the facade up for as long as they needed. But the truth is, nothing lasts forever. Not their power, not their lies, not their control. The foundation they've built their lives upon is cracked, and it is crumbling beneath their feet. They can run, they can hide, they can pretend that it isn't happening, but the pain they caused is coming for them, and it will not stop until it has its due. You see, pain has a way of multiplying. It doesn't just sit still. It doesn't stay in one place. It moves, it spreads, it takes root in the deepest parts of our souls and grows, feeding off the fear, the anger, the regret, the sorrow. And eventually, it finds its way back to where it started, back to the source of all that suffering. And when it does, it is a force to be reckoned with. They thought they could get away with it. They thought they could walk away from the wreckage they left behind, as if the people they crushed, the lives they ruined, would just pick up the pieces and move on. But no, that's not how it works. Every action has its consequence, and every wound has its healing. And as they sit there, pretending that everything is still in their control, the wounds they inflicted on others are being stitched back together, stronger than before. And those stitches are slowly becoming a rope, a noose that will tighten around their necks until they can't breathe. Do you think they don't hear the whispers? Do you think they don't feel the weight of their actions, the sting of the memories of what they've done? They might try to ignore it. They might try to drown it out with more power, more control, more manipulation. But it's there, always lurking in the back of their minds, always waiting for that moment when they can no longer ignore it. And now, it's too late. The tides have turned. The people they hurt, the people they destroyed, are rising. They're not the fragile, broken souls they once were. No, they've grown stronger. They've learned from the pain. They've turned the very suffering that was meant to break them into fuel for their own power, their own strength. And now, those who once feared them are standing tall, stronger than ever, and the ones who inflicted the pain are beginning to realize the truth. They are no longer in control. The fear is setting in. Can you feel it? The fear that lingers in the air, thick and palpable, like a storm waiting to break. They thought they had power. They thought they had control. But now, they're beginning to understand something they never considered before. The pain they caused has been boiling beneath the surface, simmering, growing, and now it's boiling over. And as it spills into their lives, they are watching the destruction they caused come for them, one consequence at a time. They're terrified, aren't they? They can't hide from it anymore. They can't escape the weight of what they've done. And no matter how much they try to outrun it, no matter how much they try to bury it under layers of lies, the truth is coming for them. It always does. The truth doesn't stay hidden. It doesn't stay quiet. It rises like a force of nature, and it demands to be heard. And now, the truth is ringing in their ears, loud and clear, and they can't ignore it. They tried to break you, didn't they? They tried to crush your spirit, to make you feel small, to make you feel like you were nothing. But look at you now. Look at the strength you found in your suffering, the fire that burns inside of you. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are a force to be reckoned with, and the power that was once theirs is slipping through their fingers, slipping right into your hands. They thought they could break you, but what they didn't understand is that pain doesn't break you. It doesn't shatter you. It forges you into something stronger, something more powerful than you could ever have imagined. And now, as they sit in the silence of their terror, watching everything they've built start to crumble, they are beginning to understand the price of their actions. They thought they could walk away unscathed, but now they're facing the consequences of every choice they made, every person they hurt, every life they destroyed. The pain they caused is now their punishment, and there's no escaping it. They are terrified because they know that the universe doesn't forget. The universe remembers, and it will make sure that they feel every ounce of the pain they dished out. They can run, they can hide, but it's already too late. The damage has been done, and now the only thing left for them to do is face the consequences of their actions. In the end, this is the ultimate lesson. You cannot escape the consequences of your choices. No one is immune. No one is above the laws of balance. They thought they could walk away from their cruelty, their indifference, their pain. But now, they are the ones left to face it. And as they sit in the ruins of their own making, they will know the truth. The pain they caused is returning to them. And now, they are the ones who are terrified. The path they walked down, thinking they could tread on others without consequence, has now become a labyrinth of their own making. Every step they took, every life they trampled, has left a mark. That mark isn't fading. It never will. They thought they could burn bridges, destroy trust, and leave people to suffer in their wake. But what they failed to see is that those bridges they burned weren't the only connections they were severing. They thought they were severing ties with you, with the world. But what they didn't realize is that every severed tie was a thread in the fabric of their own undoing. Now, as the days pass, as they sleep under the false security of their own lies, the truth is unraveling. Every piece of pain they handed out like a weapon is slowly turning into a rope, a chain, pulling them closer to the inevitable. They are trapped in the web of their own making, and every attempt they make to escape only tightens it further. You see, they were arrogant in their cruelty, arrogant in thinking that no one would rise up, that no one would remember the injustices, the abuses, the words they whispered with venom. They thought their power was a shield that would protect them forever. But power, when wielded with malice, only makes the fall harder. It's like standing at the top of a cliff, looking down at the abyss below, and believing that the height doesn't matter because you're untouchable. But the higher you are, the greater the fall. Every person they hurt, every soul they destroyed, is rising now. Do they feel it? Do they feel the whispers turning into roars, the shadows they cast over others slowly stretching toward them? They cannot hide from this. They They cannot escape the reckoning that is coming for them, the cries of the wounded, the silent screams of those they shattered. They've been building, accumulating, gaining strength in the dark, and now that darkness is creeping toward them. They thought they were safe in their ivory towers, in their places of control, but those towers are built on the suffering of others, and they are not as strong as they thought. They believed their power would last forever, that their reign would continue unchallenged, but nothing lasts forever. Even the mightiest of empires fall when they are built on broken backs and crushed dreams. And now, their empire is crumbling around them, piece by piece. They see it happening. They feel the tremors beneath their feet, but they don't know what to do. They didn't prepare for this. They didn't anticipate the consequences, the weight of their decisions catching up with them. So, let this be a warning. Let it be a lesson to those who think they can hurt others without consequence. Let it be a reminder that no one is untouchable. No one is above the laws of the universe. Pain may be inflicted, but it will always return. And when it does, it will be a force far greater than you ever imagined. And when it finds you, when it catches up with you, it will remind you that no one can escape the consequences of their actions. But let me ask you this. Have you ever truly witnessed the fear in someone's eyes when they realize that the consequences they thought they could outrun have finally caught up to them? It's not the kind of fear you can ignore. It's a primal, bone-deep terror that makes even the mightiest of souls tremble. And that's what they are feeling now. The ones who thought they could play with fire without getting burned. They are being consumed by it. The inferno they started in their arrogance, in their need to crush others for their own gain, is now turning on them. Every lie they told, every betrayal they committed, every heart they shattered, it is all coming back to them. Every act of cruelty, every moment of indifference, every sneer they cast upon others. Those things don't just vanish into the ether. They take root, they grow, they fester in the darkest corners of the universe, only to return when the time is right. Now, it's their turn. It's their turn to feel the crushing weight of regret. It's their turn to sit in the shadow of their past actions and realize that there is no running away from the consequences. The worst part, though, the true horror they face isn't in the obvious punishments, the ones we can all see coming from a mile away. No, the worst part is the knowledge that they built their lives on falsehoods, on illusions of power that have crumbled into dust. They believed they were invincible, that nothing could harm them because they held the reins of power, because they manipulated those around them like pawns on a chessboard. But what they failed to realize was that the very people they oppressed would rise. They would remember. They would awaken to their own strength, and when they did, they would come for them. They thought they could buy silence. They thought they could buy loyalty. But what they didn't account for was the power of a person who has nothing left to lose. When you've been crushed, when you've been ground down into dust, you either stay there and let the weight of the world suffocate you, or you rise. And when you rise, you don't just rise for yourself, you rise for everyone who has ever been wronged, for everyone who has ever been made to feel insignificant. You rise with the power of 1,000 voices that have been silenced. And when you rise, you are unstoppable. They thought they had it all figured out. They thought that the power they held, the resources at their disposal, the fear they instilled in others, would shield them from any kind of consequence. But what they didn't understand is that power, when wielded without conscience, is a double-edged sword. It will cut those around you, but it will also eventually cut you. It will turn on you. And when it does, when the very thing you once controlled turns against you, there is no escape. There is nowhere left to run. They thought they could destroy your spirit. that they could break you down, make you small, make you beg for mercy. But what they didn't count on was the fire that resides within every person. The kind of fire that can't be extinguished. The kind of fire that burns brighter the more they try to suffocate it. You see, their cruelty was the spark, but the fire it ignited was yours. And it's a fire that can never be quenched. They pushed you to the edge, they shoved you into the darkness, but instead of breaking, you adapted. Instead of cowering, you grew stronger. You found your power in the suffering they forced upon you. And now, that power is a force that they cannot reckon with. And now they are scared. They are scared because they know what's coming. They can feel it, can't they? The walls closing in, the doors that once seemed open, now slammed shut. The safety net they thought was there, the armor they thought they wore so securely, is gone. They are exposed. And in that exposure, in that moment of realization that there is nowhere left to hide, that's when the fear sets in. That's when they truly understand the depth of the pain they caused, and they know that it is coming for them. They can't control the narrative anymore. They can't dictate who gets hurt and who walks away unscathed. No, the power they once had is slipping through their fingers like sand. The people they wronged, the lives they shattered, are now standing tall, unwavering, and they are no longer afraid. They are no longer silent. And when you silence someone for so long, when you've made them feel like they don't matter, when you've crushed their spirit, when you finally push them too far, there is nothing more dangerous than the quiet rage that builds inside them. It's the kind of rage that cannot be ignored. It's the kind of rage that burns like a wildfire, and when it reaches you, it will consume everything in its path. And now, as they look around, as they search desperately for a way out, they are realizing the truth they refused to face for so long. The power they held was an illusion. It was never real. It was a facade, a house of cards built on lies. And when that house falls, when it all comes crashing down around them, they will be left standing in the wreckage, alone, vulnerable, and exposed to the very consequences they thought they could escape. They thought they could walk away unscathed. They thought they could throw their stones, make their attacks, and leave without facing the repercussions. But the universe, as always, is a careful recorder of every action, every word, every decision, every moment of cruelty. It's all recorded. And when the time comes, when the debt is due, it will be paid in full. Now, as the truth begins to sink in, they are forced to confront the people they hurt. They are forced to see the faces of the ones they tried to break. And what they will realize is that those faces are no longer filled with fear. They are filled with strength, with power, with an unshakable resolve that says, "You cannot break me. You cannot control me. You cannot hurt me anymore." And that realization, that bitter, soul-crushing truth, is the thing that terrifies them most. Because no matter how much they try to push forward, no matter how much they try to manipulate, to deceive, to control the narrative, they cannot erase what they've done. They cannot change the fact that they have hurt people. They cannot undo the damage they've caused. And that is the thing that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. They will try to deny it. They will try to convince themselves that they've done nothing wrong, that they were justified in their actions. But deep down, in the darkest corners of their minds, they will know the truth. They will know that the pain they caused is coming for them, and there is no way to escape it. There is no amount of money, no amount of power, no amount of manipulation that will shield them from the reckoning that awaits them. And that reckoning will come. It always does. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The universe has a way of making sure that balance is restored, that those who sow pain will one day feel the weight of it. And when that moment comes for them, they will understand what they've done. They will understand the full extent of the damage they caused. And when they are faced with the consequences of their actions, they will know, deep down, that they have no one to blame but themselves. And that, my friends, is the true terror. The fear that comes not from the consequences themselves, but from the realization that they were the architects of their own destruction. They built their empire on the backs of others, and now that empire is crumbling. And as it crumbles, so too does the illusion of invincibility they once wore so proudly. The truth is coming for them, and when it arrives, it will be relentless. It will strip away everything they thought they were, everything they thought they had. And when they are left with nothing but the consequences of their own choices, they will finally understand. The pain they caused is now their burden to bear, and they are terrified because they know they cannot escape it. The universe has a way of balancing the scales, of returning pain to those who caused it. Those who think they are untouchable, those who believe they can escape the consequences of their actions, are in for a harsh awakening. In the end, we all face the price of our decisions. And when that reckoning comes, there will be no hating, no escaping the truth. The pain they caused is coming back to them, and they will have to confront the very thing they thought they could avoid.